Well, the action continues here at Weber Cup 18, not Weber Cup 2018, as I said. I got myself a year in advance. We'll be here a year from now, I'm sure. But back to the present day, and 2017, the Europeans have slipped off the pace a little bit here. The Americans came in talking big, talking revenge. After 4 straight defeats so far, they are walking the walk as well as talking the talk. Can Marshall Kent continue their resurgence here? Spent a lot of time in Chicago, Marshall, that these days is based on the West Coast in Seattle. But all these players, apart from Kyle Troop, they landed Wednesday morning, so there shouldn't be any jet lag issues. They should be fresh, they should be ready. Basically, with Stu Williams there going up against Marshall Kent. It's the 2 guys that have had the furthest to travel, because Williams obviously based in Glendale, Arizona these days, which is a long way from Ellesmere Port. He got back on home turf last Sunday. The 36-year-old, very acclimatized, very familiar with this lane, with this format, and the kind of guy for a crisis as well. You've heard players talking about how Stuart Williams is a guy who can step up when something is really needed. Well, he'll be hoping to step up here, and he'll be hoping that that is the start of a revival here for Europe.
Well, he's almost converted the 7-10 split there, didn't he? A great looking strike, and here it goes into the pocket. It's a fraction light, isn't it? And there's the 7 and 10 pin standing up. But they've both gone, and that's 30 pins, and Stuart just loves that.
On another day, though, that is the 7-10 split.
Yeah, that's right. But he's looking to get the crowd on his side as well. But Marshall Kent, a man in rather good form, actually. He's had a couple of wins in the last few months in the States. And he too starts with a strike.
Yeah, another slightly fortuitous one. The pin action taking care of the 7. Yeah, you're right about Marshall. He's in terrific form at the moment, isn't he?
Had a big win in Lubbock, Texas, and won the Oklahoma Open recently against a guy we know, Chris Barnes, from a few years ago, and actually represented USA in the World Games in Poland back in July.
Which is a very prestigious event. You talk about him beating Barnes, you know who he beat at Lubbock as well. That was E.J. Tackett, his teammate here.
Absolutely.
Now then, here's a fella who doesn't boast those kind of titles in 2017, but boasts a big game, and this time the 7 has stood up.
Well, you notice how far left Stuart has started on the approach with his feet, and he's throwing the ball right out to the outside of the lane. So he's basically going left to right and then hooking it back again. This will be hard and fast with a spare ball, which he takes away, which can only be 19 pins on the World Bowling Scoring System. And just to reassure league bowlers out there in bowling land, this scoring system will not be coming to your centre or your leagues at all. It's designed for television finals around the world. It's been used in several major events, including the Weber Cup.
Oh, he got away with that one. Yes. What happened there?
Well, Stuart's not looking very happy because Marshall's just bowled a Brooklyn strike, left-hand side of the head pin. This is only the 2nd game on this lane dressing, so there should be a reasonable amount of oil down there, but this one just took off, and he doesn't care because it's 2 strikes in a row. But it was to the left-hand side of the head pin, not where he was aiming.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to worry him. Why did that ball sail away like that? As you say, the Brooklyn side. The strike stands. Williams has got to match that. He with a pretty good-looking pocket hit, and this time it's the 7, or rather the 10 that won't go down. Last time it was the 7, this time it's the 10.
Yeah, it's too wide. He's hit the pocket. He's coming in from such an acute angle. But he hits the 1-3 pocket, and it jumps that 6 pin out wide, straight into the gutter and lays flat. That's why the 10 pin's standing up. I mean, it looked a good shot, but when you see it on slow-mo or super slow-mo, you can see exactly what's happened. Takes the spare away.
Well, as we've seen already, spares don't win you points in this year's Weber Cup. but not over yet, because it's pretty early days here. And remember, Marshall Kent got away with a Brooklyn strike last time up.
Yes, it will be interesting to see if he makes any adjustment here or trusts to luck.
Well, that one sailed on him as well. So he is going to have to adjust.
Yeah, too much back end. He's got the 3, 6, 9 and the 10 there. Yes, he threw it exactly the same and got the same reaction in the back end. These high hooking reactive resin bowling balls, when they come off the oil, off the corner of the oiling pattern and get to the dry boards at the back end there, they just look at that.
Yeah, really.
Almost remote control. Not that he wanted to control it there, but it certainly it was like a leg break, wasn't it, for a cricketer?
I think that's why I was concerned in the previous frame. Yes, he got the spare, so he leaves an open frame here as a result of that. But the point was, yes, he got the strike off the Brooklyn, but that should not have been a Brooklyn hit, and he's not been able to solve the puzzle next time up either, and leaving an open frame is really costly.
Well, did you see how far left he stood on the approach to start? And he's thrown it right. Now, he can't go any further left, so it may well be that he's going to have to look at a different bowling ball. And he's having a few words, and EJ's just telling him what to do. It may be that he needs to shoot a harder bowling ball, one that's just not quite so reactive. There's only one pin in this match, and if Stuart can hit a strike here...
And he is really having trouble with his corner pins here, Stu Williams. That's 3 in a row now. Yeah,
and it is the angle that he's coming in at. He needs to, if he could, throw it straighter to the pocket, but he's choosing to play left to right and then snap it back. I mean, that really is a big snap, but look at that 6 minutes, just lays flat in the gutter.
Yeah. I mean, he's lucky still to be in this. I mean, an open frame from his opponent has really helped him out, because as we've seen in previous matches, you rack up 3 spares, especially this early in the match as well, you're not going to win.
Well, especially the way the guys from Team USA have been striking.
Exactly.
Crikey, they've been striking left, right and centre.
But in his last 2 at-bats, to use a bit of baseball terminology, Marshall has been fighting the lane a little bit, and it'll be very interesting to see what he does here. He's had a team talk, so he's got some advice from the guys.
Well, that was better. It was certainly more flush and carried 10 pins away. Stuart's pretty much under pressure there under these lights, but that was a great looking shot from Marshall Kent. Gets him back in the game. Gets his speed up against...
Doing some work though, Cass. He's only just got away with that, you know.
Nick, you're quite right, you know. There's a lot of revs on that ball, and it's coming off the oiling pattern. Of course, they're both playing in the same area of the lane, so they're kind of corrupting their shot, if you like.
Well, it is very hot in more ways than one for Stuart Williams down there right now. He needs strikes, and he needs them in a hurry, and that's not going to work. He just can't find it, can he?
No, he can't. He's just snapped that one off his fingers, and it's thrown to the right with lots of rotation on it, but it's gone too far. It's gone out past 10 board, almost out to the channel, to the gutter. And he's fortunate to kick that 10 pin out, and he's got the 2 and the 8 left.
The sleeper, as it's known.
As it's known, yes. That's a good-looking spare. But spares, that's 4 in a row. He's got to find a strike shot somewhere.
Yeah, Stu Williams doesn't want to be getting this kind of workout with his spare ball. That's not going to win him a point. The one hope for Stu Williams and Team Europe right now is that Marshall Kent is not firing on all cylinders. It's a bit of a voyage into the unknown every time he steps up at the moment. Now, let's see if he can get a good, solid, clean pocket hit here. Now that's more like it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, that will certainly cheer him up and put pressure back on Stuart, who's hasn't it, a strike for 4 frames. Hard and fast. Still gets a great reaction in the back end, but it's right in the pocket. So it's carried all 10. Stuart's claim to fame in 10-pin bowling, of course, he was a former World Masters winner, but he was the first UK bowler to win a PBA title on the American Tour. And that's got him back to a strike. How about that?
Has it come too late, though? We are in frame 6.
Yeah, he's got the bit between his teeth. He's upped his speed here, and it's held pocket, and that's a nice looking shot. But let's face it, both players are not playing on their A game.
Well, Kent got a good pocket hit last time up after a bit of this, that and everything in the 3 frames leading up to that. Let's see if he can stay in the pocket here. That seemed a little bit slower and a little bit more thought behind that ball, and a really good strike as a result.
Yeah, he's getting some encouragement and advice from the rest of the guys, just sitting off stage there. And 3 strikes in a row, that's very good. 5 out of 6 for the American. Pressure here on Stewart to come back with another one. Really can't afford any spare. I mean, a 9 spare against the strikers in an 11-pin deficit. Good shot,
He's
Stewart.
done it, doubled it up. So he's given himself half a chance, but he needs an error from Marshall Kent to get himself back into this. All he can do is just hang around and hope for the best at the moment. And as you say, he's doing that. But
yeah, he's made the adjustment, and in fact, I think he's probably had a ball change. I didn't notice it, but he's certainly getting a different reaction.
But there are not going to be many points won at this year's Weber Cup with 4 consecutive spares. And that's what Williams has offered up tonight. Kent looking to try and stay in the strike zone, or whatever adjustments were needed, he has certainly made them.
Yeah, as I say, he's been on really tip-top form back in the United States in the recent months. And he's obviously brought or hopes to bring that form to the Weber Cup, which is why he's in the squad. Pressure now back on Stewart Williams.
Well, I think Stewart must know that it's just strike out and hope for the best. He just needs a strike here, and that is probably the end of this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the speed again was down a little bit. It hit the pocket nicely, but the speed was down, and it just didn't have the reaction to take that 10-pin out. A little bit light in the pocket. Spare's good, but not good enough at the moment.
Well, a 244 max for Stu Williams.
Yeah, and that's if he strikes
That's
off.
if he strikes out. Yeah. As it is, this man seems to have come through his wobbles. Made it entertaining for 2 or 3 frames there, didn't it? Well, we never knew quite what was coming next. I don't think Marshall knew what was coming next either, but he's certainly sorted things out. And he's been on the money ever since.
Another great looking shot. 5 strikes in a row. 7 out of 8 for Marshall Kent.
And the last 3 perfect pocket hits.
I think I mentioned earlier that he's actually ranked #1 on the world tour at this particular time. Oh, Stewart's got one. Hits him thin, makes him spin. Only just touched the head pin there. Gets himself a strike. Well, that will please him, but he's still behind, and there's only 1 frame to go. Only just makes the head pin, and see they all tumble around on the left-hand side of the deck.
But I don't think anybody needs to tell Stu Williams. This point has gone, and right now the Americans are still on course to completely reverse what happened a year ago when they trailed at the end of the Friday night session 6-1. Here they're on the threshold of 4-1 ahead.
This to win the game if he strikes.
Was it ever in doubt?
Great looking shot. 6 strikes in a row for Marshall Kent. The game is over. Stewart Williams cannot win. Strike here will give him 244. Kent has already got 249. And that's what it means to him. Oh well.
Well, now strikes are coming from all angles for Williams when it doesn't matter.
Say goodnight, Stewart. 244 and a loss, which is unfortunate. It's a series of 4 spares in the middle of that game, or at the start of that game.
It was at the start, wasn't it? He was dead in the water at halfway here, really. As it is, Kent, for all those strikes, a couple of them were a little bit here, there and everywhere, but I'll tell you, the second half of this game has been absolutely solid. He finishes by leaving a 10 in the corner, but that won't matter.
Yeah, it says he's got to have practice on that 10-pin. He's shot so many strikes.
Gets the
spare for 268.
Plastic spare, and 268 will do it. A win by 24 pins for Marshall Kent, and just like that, the Americans have cruised to a pretty comfortable point. Stuart Williams, hamstrung by those early spares, could never get back on terms, and the man from Seattle was able to come away strong in the second half of that one to win it 268-244 and give Team USA a very healthy looking lead. 4-1 this.